If you
Does that sound all
ever.
right? Check, 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 check the sound. Is that right?
It's a good balance.
That's what I
I think
want.
it'll work just fine.
All right, guys, mute up and I'll give it a whirl. All right, so this is what I would have played tonight. It would have been my first time in front of more than a virtual audience in probably since the whole thing started. I don't think I've played for more than one person since this started. So I was going to roll a couple of songs by Get Used to Singing Outside. This is the first couple of songs that actually the first three songs that I was thinking about playing for at the Green Show, talking a little bit about songwriting as a kind of a musical journal and a way to help sort out your life, as well as potentially uplifting other people, as well as perhaps a career or whatever, but it's also just a way to help sort things out. So this is called There's a Good Side to Bad Times, and you can guess what it's about. People are asking me how I'm doing, and they're looking me in the eye. Say what you will about this trouble, but there's a good side to bad times. People don't come around quite as often, some of whom I never liked. Say what you will about this trouble, but there's a good side to bad times. My baby, she's feeling lonesome. She's coming home tonight. Our love is like an ocean when we're too weak to fight. To get down to the heart, you must leave behind your pride. Say what you will about this trouble, but there's a good side to bad times. Nothing is forever. I've known that since I was 5. My sandcastles were so clever, but I could hear the tide. And here it comes once again to wash me down to size. Say what you will about this trouble, but there's a good side to bad times. I got space to feel around me. I got space to feel inside. Space is what surrounds me when I breathe into the night. I tell my friends that I love them, and I look them in the eye. Say what you will about this trouble, but there's a good side to bad times. It's easier to pretend that people are listening when I'm not playing live. Say what you will about this trouble, But there's a good side to bad times.
All right. Very nice.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, when you remove the sunglasses, I was thinking you might do something like the Twilight Zone with those bug-eyed things or something. But you saved us from that horror.
Eyeballs come out.
Edit post.
Boing, 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 boing. All right, now here's a tricky one. Same key.
I think you
but
threw in a 9-chord in there too, didn't you?
something, I don't know.
He did. I saw that.
Yeah.
Now this is also an E, but this is
Oh, he's back to the high capo. Yeah.
capo 9. It's the same key, but it won't sound like the same key. All right. It's been one of those days. Now it's one of those nights when me and the world, all we do is fight. My hands just can't do anything right. It's been one of those days. Now it's one of those nights. You only get so many, you never know how many, you never know how many you get. You only get so many, you never know how many, you're only gonna get what you get. It's been one of those weeks. Now it's one of those weekends. And the world, we're stuck in the deep end, too tired to leave, too tired to sleep in. It's been one of those weeks. Now it's one of those weekends. You only get so many, you never know how many. What you get. It's been one of those months. Now it's one of those seasons. Me and the world, we can't find a reason. The days go by too fast to seize them. It's been one of those months. Now it's one of those seasons. You only get so many, you never know how many, you never know how many you get. You only get so many, you never know how many, you're only gonna get what you get. Comes another. Me and the world, we're trying to recover. We got to do more than fight with each other. It's been one of those years. Now here comes another. Get so many, you never know how many, you never know how many you get. You only get so many, you never know how many, you're only gonna get what you get. Only get what you get. Only get what you get. Me and the world, get what we get. Me and the world don't get what we get. Me and the world.
All right, Dave.
My favorites, Gene.
So you're a Destiny kind of guy, huh?
Not exactly, but I mean, parts of me believe almost everything that you can think of. And my overall sense is informed by all those parts, and I make decisions rather than take positions or beliefs. So I'm not really sure I mean, part of me sometimes feels like I'm completely alone. Sometimes it feels like my prayers are that there's some kind of intelligence in the universe that I'm having a conversation with. Sometimes it seems personal. Sometimes it seems impersonal. Sometimes there's just laws. Sometimes I feel like everything's just rolling out like billiard balls, and there seems to be an inevitability to events. Other times it feels like I have total control over them. I really don't know. I'm pretty much agnostic, but I experience all those things, and then I plot my course according to some sort of majority rule in the parliament in my head, if that makes any sense. I'm not a normal person.
What's normal?
Okay, we'll just leave you hanging on that. Nobody will respond to that.
What is
Off the
normal?
top of my
You're
head.
kind of normal, but but not
Yeah.
really, But
Well,
you
I
can
mean, I
act
think
normal.
I think I give more of a voice to those parts than sometimes some people do. I think people are often trying to force a majority government, and the parts of themselves that they don't like, they try to keep down. And the problem with that for me is that those parts get stronger when I do that. Whereas when I let them have their expression, like there was a point along the way with songwriting, to make it pertinent to what the hell we're doing here, when I just let go of this idea that my songs had to present a coherent person, almost like a musical personals ad, like I wanted it to be really accurate and represent my views and my feelings and who I am now. And I just let that go, and I gave parts of me that aren't majority parts. I just gave anybody any view that I felt musically connected to. I gave them their song. So I have songs that directly contradict each other, but they reflect parts of me, and that dynamic conversation is more what I'm about than one side being right or wrong or winning or so it is a parliament. I started with a musical parliament idea, then it became just like I realized, oh, that's kind of how my head works anyway. And I think it's how a lot of heads work. We have inner voices in us. I think they want to be counselors. They want to be helpers. But if you continually tell one of them to shut up, they start becoming revolutionary, and they want to blow up the parliament and take over the government. So I give them all their voice. And this one is about, I think, the internet in general, and particularly the way things have gotten politically so much in the last little bit.
Blow up the parliament.
So I think that people are unfortunately just more concerned with being right than being intimate or connected in any way. Like everybody just wants to be right, and that's all they don't want to understand the other side's just evil. They just want to be right. And I understand it, but it just doesn't I wish that we could go back to a day when we were all Americans and we debated which way to go, and we took a chance on this way or that way, and we kind of felt our way through it, instead of the other side is evil and has to be vanquished from the face of the earth.
My wife and I had the very same conversation recently, but we stopped ourselves and said, wait a minute. 50, 60 years ago, we remember our grandparents yelling about that cocksucker so-and-so. And that this conflict has been going on.
And there was always people doing that, but I just feel like it's so sharp now and so extreme. I mean, there are people that are livid right now about the New Deal, and they've always been there. But I feel like it's more, the line is so intense. Every issue that comes up is immediately the other side. They can't give the other side a point. They can't. They must win. Everything they do is bad. Let's figure it out backwards. I mean, Obamacare is a perfect example. that was Romney care. That was Romney's idea, and yet they all had to attack it because Obama took it on. So that right and wrong is just, anyway. This is a song called "I'd Rather Be Wrong." All right, mute up. Now let's start this over. If I have to be like you to be right, I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. You hold the wheels of life too tight. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong than be like you. I don't even care what's true. If that's what being right can do, I'd rather be wrong than be like you. If I have to laugh like you to be right, I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. If I have to wake up looking for a fight, I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong than be like you, where nothing's ever new. If that's what being right can do, I'd rather be wrong than be like you. If I have to be spiteful and small, I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. It's like a drug and you've got it all. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong than be like you. Doesn't matter if it's true. If that's what being right can do, I'd rather be wrong than be like you. If I have to be like you to be right, I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. You hold the wheels of life too tight. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong. I'd rather be wrong.
All right. That's kind of a variation of a.
Thank you, guys.
Those were good songs, Gene.
Thank you. man.
Everybody's songs were good tonight.
Very, very good.
Yeah, good stuff. What were you going to say, Gus? You started to say that reminds you.
That's the oh heck, I've the oh yeah. If,
Remind me of
if,
something I
if,
forgot.
if heaven is full of you kind of guys, I'd rather go to hell.
Right. All the, the best music, I mean, there's some beautiful music in heaven, but I mean, come on. Hell's where the. What was that song about rock and roll heaven? They got a hell of a
Well,
band.
yeah, I guess so.
But those, I don't know how many of those folks are in heaven.
Really, what are the? It's interesting to contemplate a perfect place because you would never make a mistake in your music. I guess you couldn't play a wrong note.
No, but you'd be well.
So there'd be no jazz.
But that all the greats would be there. So would you even play a note? You'd be like
wow.
you'd be in hell, and there'd be
wow.
like every jazz performer, right? Pretty much, right? All the blues guys, all the rock and roll guys, all the unrepentant sinners, and so you could go to heaven and listen to Bach, and that would be great. But down Janis Joplin, Dizzy Gillespie, John Coltrane.
Actually, Miles Davis said if you hit a
Oh.
wrong note, it's the next note that you play that determines if it's good or bad.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
200% true. It may not look like it because I'm just playing 4-chord folk music, but my right hand, while it's steady in a certain way, it's not steady in another way, and so I'm constantly improvising, trying to make the whole thing sound coherent by correcting for whatever error I just made.
Yeah.
I'm just constantly doing that. I'm wrangling my nervous system all the time.
That's the reason I
And
became
so-
a songwriter. Because if I screw up, I'm the only one that knows.
Right.
There you
Exactly.
go. Exactly. You can just make up the. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd love to do
get it-
that.
Yeah. So you have to. It's all about that next note. And if you're a really good musician, I mean, you can hit a literal clunker.
It doesn't
and
have to
steer
just
the
be
whole
the
song
next
out
note.
there.
If you hit a wrong note, you can come back to it in that phrase and reemphasize it. No,
Yeah.
that's the wrong note. This is the note I meant.
This is the right note. Yeah, you got it. You got
It's
it.
the new theme now. Now it's that song, yeah. Especially in jazz, you can definitely do that. Easier in jazz than you can
Yeah.
in the middle of a pop tune. But even in a pop tune, it can work. Or you just immediately go to the right note and it's just one little aberration and you play your ass off the rest of the time and people forget about it. You know?
Yeah.
To remember, we have short attention spans out here. So I just can't I can't enjoy this fourth verse of the song because he had a clunker back in the intro, It's ancient history.
Plus, a pretty girl walked by. And,
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah.
Oh man. I've got a song called "No Song in the World Can Compete with a Pretty Girl" or something like that, because like I would bring a friend to an open mic, and I'd say, "Hey, I got this new song, I really want you to hear it." I'd sit him down and I get to the new song and I look and it's like, he's chatting up some girl in the pool room, And gets this, and then he gets up there to play his song. He forgets all his lyrics because he's looking at the pretty girl.
Oh man.
Your songs can't quite compare to the attraction of the juice there, especially when you're young. But well, you guys, that was super fun. Everybody recovered nicely from the rain delay, and we just played the kind of thing that we would have played anyway. And I think that was good. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Except for Steve. We can talk about Steve.
No, we're not going to talk about Steve.
When I close the meeting, Gus, will that automatically just stop the recording and
It will.
bump that over to him? Okay, great. Does anybody have anything else they want to mention or say or promote or share before we
No, I'm
call
sorry.
it?
I'm headed out to Hollywood on the day after tomorrow.
Well, some of the ones that you participated in from the van were really cool. So I know it's kind of.
I know you liked driving around.
Yeah, seeing the old
If
neighborhood.
you can pull out your uke and sing us a song from a parking lot in Santa Monica or something, there's just something just kind of miraculous and magical about that. But if it's not too much trouble, if it's obviously I wouldn't strain myself
I carry
to
my
do that.
uke everywhere. I carry
you
my
go.
guitar sometimes.
You got a phone, you got a uke, and if you can participate, even just for a song or to say hi, that would be great. Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Well, safe
I
travels.
put a link over here on the chat. That's a link to our first KSKQ show.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and when is that?
Well, it possibly will be the first Thursday in June. That's kind of the target right now at 6 o'clock on the Thursday.
But that link is to a file of this show.
Yeah, that's what I recorded yesterday with Stephen Michael Moore as a guest artist and co-host.
Oh,
I'm
good.
going to be doing that next Wednesday with Gene as a guest artist
excellent.
and co-host.
All kinds of talent there.
Well, and then we'll do you, do you, Bill, and then we'll work our way. It's interesting to have a show and put it up there and it'll last for forever and nobody will listen to it. But what the hell, we can have fun doing it. Well, there'll be 3 people who listen to it and a couple others.
I'll listen to it.
And here's the thing to remember, folks. Here's the thing to remember. We are devolving back to an era when your only hope of being famous was to be known by 200-300 people.
Yeah,
That was
that's
it.
true. That's
For
true.
most of human history, we didn't even know there was another country.
That's right. That's
Little
true.
Right.
little villages and groups
That's
of
right.
villages, and you could be famous for 300 people, and that's kind of where it's headed. There's so many audiences and so many markets and so
Right.
many people
Yes.
that
Fame isn't what
connecting
it's
to.
cracked up to be.
What's that?
Fame isn't all it's cracked up to be.
No.
Of course not. You rub against it all the time. So if you can adjust your sense of scale and look at the actual thing, which is to connect with other people with your music, forget the scale, how many, and just do that. I mean, if you think, if let's suppose, Gus, suppose we show the show on KSKQ, and let's say we get 100 listeners, okay?
Oh.
Which in the music business world is zero
Nothing.
or worse than zero. But let's say we get 100, and let's say during the course of the show, let's say the four of us were the main features, and let's suppose that each one of us over the course of the show got 25 listens to one of our songs. I mean, a
Wow.
sincere listen, where they sat and listened to the whole song and went, oh, that's a nice tune. 25, just 1 out of 4 tuned into your tune at one point or another. How long do you think it would take you to get 25 sincere front-to-back listens in a crowded bar, or even at Pony Espresso? How long till 25 people have heard your song all the way through? It's not
Never.
nothing, you know. It's not nothing. It's human beings out there who connect. So I don't care. I would be a guest on any KSKQ show, even if it had 4 listeners. It's like, all right, that's 4 people. If you let go of the scale, life is so much more fun. It's so much more enjoyable, because you don't. If you're attached to the scale, everything is how many people, how did it do, how much money, how many.
Right.
I've been there, and it's a roller coaster. You have
It's a
real highs and
business.
real lows, and you're always hoping it's going to go up. And it's like, when it's this way, it's like you're almost guaranteed success. I get 10 or 12 listeners at my Sunday night open mic thing, but I think, how long would it take me to get 10 or 12 listeners to listen to a whole set if I was actually at the bar, you know? So I love just putting out the best work I can, because one time, just a very brief story here, one time someone offered me a chance to play at a little elementary school fundraiser, winter fair, play in the room where the donuts and coffee is, okay, for our benefit for our school. I like the school. It was like a cool Waldorf thing or whatever. So I said, sure, I'll go. So I go down there. I set up with a little sound guy. He's got a sound system. I might have played for 2 hours or longer. I played for a while, and I think I made $9 in tips. And over the course of the time, I had anywhere from 1, including the sound guy, to 7 or 8 people in or out of there listening, in and out of listening, running around winter fair stuff, right? Set finishes, the sound guy walks over and he says, hey, we should talk about getting you up on stage at the Brit sometime. I really like your stuff. I go, what? He goes, yeah, I booked the main stage at the Brit. My kid goes to school here.
Oh, wow.
So I auditioned for Mike Sturgill for 2 hours without even knowing it. I was showing up for a $9 gig because I felt like I liked the school, and if I get a few listens, maybe I'll touch somebody here, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe someone will laugh at one of these things, you know. I just did it for that, and it led to me 2 years later opening for America on the Brit stage with 1,900 people. So, best gig of my life, you know, top of the mountain. It's, you know,
Right.
been downhill since, but still, it was a great gig and super fun to meet those guys and to play through the Brit sound system. And
Yeah.
my buddy Doug took a video of it, and we got sound directly off the board.
Oh,
it
nice.
was super clean.
Yeah.
But so I took it to my sound guy, and we moistened it. It was really dry, and we made it sound like it sounded that night, and then we synced it up with the video, so we got
Oh.
like really good live footage, even though the camera's a long way away and these 2 women in front of us were drinking wine and talking the whole time. So we in the video we brought up the mix in between the songs, and when I was introducing songs, so we got the audience reactions and stuff.
Sure.
And as soon as I started
cool.
singing, we just tuned them right out and brought up the board sound. And
Nice.
if you ever search Gene Burnett and America or Opening for America on YouTube, just listen to any given song. It's just one of the better live videos I think that we've gotten out of the Rogue Valley in a while, just because of the luck of all this working. Like
Right.
having the sound from the board, a Brit level sound,
Yeah.
and then being able to sync it up with a video that my friend shot with a decent camera. So yeah, it was fun. So, you know, I always just show up and do my best, you know. You never know who's listening or who you... And another time it might be someone who comes up to you and says, man, you know, I just lost my dad, and that song really,
Right.
you know, caused a shift for me, or I felt a little better. Or, you know, you just never know what people are going through or what's going on. So a radio show, man, it goes out to people that you might never even know you touched. Somebody might be just passing through on the radio and heard that song and it blew their mind, and they don't even know what station it was. You know, who the hell knows?
Or who it was.
Just do your best, man.